Rain lashes violently against the kitchen windows, each drop a drumbeat to Maya's pounding heart. Her breath comes shallow, and her fingers tremble as she grips the edges of the marble counter. On the tablet screen before her, an email thread glows back like an open wound. Subject line: she doesn't suspect anything. Her eyes scan the message again, words exchanged between her husband, Chuka, and his best friend, Devon. Her body tightens with a fury so sharp it feels surgical. Her lips part, but no sound escapes. Just silence. Save for the hum of the refrigerator and the thunder grumbling outside. Maya backs away from the counter, knocking over a framed family photo perched beside the coffee machine. The glass shatters across the tiles. Her daughter's smile, frozen in the image, is now fragmented beneath her bare feet. She doesn't wince. Instead, she steps over it with purpose, walking briskly to the garage where Chuka's tools are stored. She flings the metal cabinet open and grabs the first thing her hand finds: a heavy wrench. It's cold, solid, real. Outside, the rain soaks her within seconds, but she doesn't care. Across the street, Devon's black Toyota sits like an accusation. She marches toward it with tunnel vision. The wrench swings once, crack a headlight. Caves in, another swing, and a tire deflates with a hiss. She digs into the back seat, flinging his gym bag into the puddles. The contents scatter: shoes, protein bars, a notebook. She finds his phone tucked into a side pocket and, without hesitation, hurls it down the storm drain. Her voice tears through the storm. Asterisk, stay the hell away from my family. Asterisk, windows flicker with light as neighbors peek through blinds. Someone gasps. A dog starts barking. But Maya doesn't stop. Her breath is ragged, chest heaving with a mixture of pain and rage. The front door of her house slams open. Chuka runs out barefoot, confusion written all over his face. Maya, what are you doing? Devon, now outside too, stares at the wreckage. Are you insane? He shouts over the rain. What the hell is going on? Maya turns slowly, hair plastered to her face, mascara streaked like war paint. Her voice is low and shaking. I saw the messages. I know what you're planning. Devon's face twists. Maya, I've never touched you. What are you even talking about? But she isn't listening anymore. Her eyes burn with betrayal, not just at what might have happened, but at everything she thought she knew. The water rushes past her feet, but she stands firm, wrench still in hand. This isn't a woman lashing out blindly, this is a woman convinced. The people closest to her are plotting to take everything away. Whether she's right or not doesn't matter. Not yet. Right now, all she sees are traitors in the storm. Maya Obi was never the type to cry wolf. A Nigerian-American therapist with a doctorate in clinical psychology and a gift for reading people. She had built her career and her identity and being emotionally attuned. Clients trusted her, colleagues admired her, but in her own life, trust was a slow-burning candle, always at risk of being snuffed out. Raised in a strict, conservative home where emotion was policed and vulnerability seen as weakness, Maya learned early to bottle things up, to scan every room, every gesture, every pause for signs of fracture. Her childhood was a training ground in respecting lessons. She now taught others, but never quite mastered for herself. Marriage, for Maya, was not about romance. It was about safety, stability, control. After years of heartache, 2 miscarriages, that nearly broke her spirit, and the quiet unraveling of her first serious relationship. She married Chuka Obi, a man who offered calm in place of chaos. Chuka was stable, dependable, a financial advisor who never raised his voice, never forgot to pay a bill, never left things messy. But love with Chuka often felt like trying to dance in a room with no music. He was charming in public, polite in conflict, but when Maya cried, he turned to silence. When she reached for him in bed, he turned away with a mumbled, long day. Their emotional rhythm had long since gone out of sync, and now, 10 years into raising their daughter Zara, Maya sometimes felt like she was parenting alone. Not just the weight of motherhood, but the loneliness of a marriage that had gone quiet. Zara was their miracle. After fertility drugs, failed IVF cycles, and the painful stillness of hospital rooms, her arrival was both salvation and scar. Maya became fiercely protective, pouring into Zara the love and attention she could no longer give or receive from her husband. But with that love came hypervigilance, checking her phone too often, questioning every adult Zara came in contact with, catastrophizing when she didn't pick up a call. Maya knew she was spiraling sometimes, but after all she had endured, she couldn't afford to let her guard down. Not again, lately, though it wasn't just about Zara. It was Chuka, the late nights, the locked phone, the quick swipe of his screen whenever she entered the room, the whispers with Devon out by the grill that stopped the moment she approached, the sudden closeness between the two men who now seemed to operate like a pair of synchronized shadows. Devon, with his easy smile and post-divorce energy, had started showing up to often dinners, weekend trips, even crashing on their couch after too much wine. Maya tried to brush it off at first. He was Chuka's best friend. He needed support. But then came the receipts. A pricey hotel bar in downtown LA, a dry cleaning tag from a place near Devon's new apartment, texts that were sent and then erased. When she confronted Chuka, he dismissed her with a laugh. "He's going through a tough time," he said. "Why are you acting paranoid?" In therapy, Maya found herself whispering things she never intended to say aloud. "I'm tired of being in a marriage where silence is louder than screaming," she confessed. Her therapist nodded, eyes kind but unreadable. Maya hated how vulnerable she sounded, hated even more how true it felt. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling buzzing under her skin, this sense that something crucial was unraveling behind her back. She started writing things down, tracking patterns, mapping out timelines. Was it obsessive? Maybe, but her gut had never failed her before. Not when her ex cheated with her own cousin, not when she sensed her miscarriages coming days before. The bleeding started. This time felt the same, off, uneasy, wrong. The worst part wasn't that she believed her husband was cheating. The worst part was not knowing what kind of betrayal it might be. Emotional, physical, financial, whatever it was. It was happening just out of sight, like a shadow in her peripheral vision that disappeared when she turned her head. And Devon, always smiling, always saying the right thing, he had started to feel like a mirror she didn't want to look into. Too comfortable in her kitchen, too familiar with her child, too present. Still, Maya tried to contain herself, to breathe, to wait for proof. But every day, without answers, felt like drowning in her own doubt. The worst betrayal, she realized, wasn't just what someone did behind your back, was how they made you question your own sanity. And right now, Maya was teetering on that edge, unsure whether she was catching the truth, creating a fiction that could destroy them all. The cursor blinked at her like a dare. Maya sat alone in the dim glow of the home office, the storm outside mirroring the chaos in her chest. Chuka's laptop lay open in front of her, His login guessed, after 3 failed attempts, Sarah's birthday, followed by their wedding anniversary. Her hands shook as she navigated to his email, her breath shallow, each click echoing like a betrayal. She knew this was a line, one she couldn't uncross, but she also knew the silence was killing her. She had to know. Then she saw it. A folder labeled confidential, tucked beneath drafts and bank statements. Her heart thudded as she opened the thread. The subject line read, Phase 2, keep her distracted. Her vision blurred. From Devon, the latest message was only 2 days old. We're almost ready. Just keep her thinking we're fighting. She can't know. The moment she suspects anything, it all falls apart. Maya clapped a hand over her mouth. Her stomach lurched, bile rising in her throat. She scrolled up, rereading each message, hoping, praying for some alternate interpretation. But there were no numbers, no invoices, no indication of business. Only cryptic phrases. Don't forget the timing matters. She's watching more than we thought. Stay calm and stick to the plan. The plan? What plan? Suddenly, everything slid into focus solely. It wasn't clarity. It was a free fall. The surprise weekend getaway Chuka insisted on last month after she found that weird charge on his credit card. The over-the-top dinner Devon cooked after they had a fight, grinning, like a man who knew exactly what strings to pull. The staged argument she overheard in the backyard, loud enough for her to catch a few sharp words, only for them to go silent the second she stepped out. She had told herself she was overthinking, being dramatic, but now it all felt orchestrated, performed like they were playing her. Maya downloaded the thread and printed every page, her hands moving with urgency, fury simmering beneath her skin. She waited in the kitchen, printouts spread like evidence in a courtroom, until Chuka walked through the door just past 11 p.m., smelling faintly of scotch and wood smoke. You're going to explain this, she said, before he could even set his keys down. He blinked, startled. Explain what? She shoved the pages into his chest. Phase 2, keep her distracted. What the hell is this, Chuka? His brows furrowed, scanning the emails. This is business stuff. It's not what you think. Don't insult me, she snapped. I know manipulation when I see it. I feel it. Chuka looked genuinely confused, maybe even panicked. Maya, I swear to you this is about a project Devon and I are working on. It's confidential because it involves a surprise something for the house. For you, she laughed then, sharp and bitter. A surprise. Do you think I'm stupid? You think I don't recognize gaslighting when it's happening to me in my own home? Maya, no, she interrupted. You don't get to Maya me, not after everything. I've been down this road before. The lying, the sneaking, the pretending. I've lived it. And I won't let the two of you make a fool of me again. She walked past him, grabbed Devon's spare keys from the drawer, and started gathering his belongings from the guest room, the gym bag, his jacket, his cologne that had somehow found its way onto her bathroom counter. Everything she threw it all onto the porch, barely noticing the rain soaking through her robe. Tell your friend to come get his things before I file a restraining order, she said, not looking at Chuka. He's not welcome here anymore. Chuka followed her. Outside, the pages still clutched in his hand. You're making a mistake. You're not seeing the full picture. I've seen enough, she said, voice low, nearly broken. I've seen this before, and I'm not letting history repeat itself. Inside, Zara stirred from the noise, peeking through the stair rails with sleepy eyes. Maya caught her daughter's gaze and instantly softened, the fire in her chest shifting to ash. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about protection and survival. Even if she was wrong, even if there was more to the story, Maya couldn't take the risk. Not with her child watching. Not with that email echoing in her mind like a verdict. She can't know. Well, now she did. And she wasn't going to ignore it. The days that followed the confrontation were a blur of silence and suspicion. Maya moved like a ghost through the house, her presence sharp and cold. Chuka had relocated to the guest room without protest, leaving behind only the faint smell of his cologne and the untouched glass of water on her nightstand. He didn't fight her on it. That, somehow, made it worse. Friends she cautiously confided in over coffee or phone calls responded with unease. Some offered concerned looks, others hedged their words. Maybe you're reading into things too much. One said gently, men are bad at surprises. Another laughed. Maya nodded, smiled politely, and tucked away their disbelief like fresh bruises. No one really got it. No one knew what it was like to constantly question reality and feel certain that something was being stolen from you in slow motion. Zara noticed. Children always do. One morning, brushing her teeth, she looked up at Maya in the mirror and asked, "Why doesn't Daddy kiss you goodbye anymore?" The question was innocent, but it pierced deep. Maya fumbled with her words, muttered something about grown-up disagreements. But inside, she could feel something collapsing, something she couldn't quite name. When Devon showed up at school pickup unannounced, flashing his familiar smile, Maya saw red. She didn't ask questions. She marched straight to the principal's office and called the police from her car, hands trembling. Devon tried to explain. He said he was just helping Chuka, that it was a misunderstanding, but the damage was done. Maya didn't wait around. She drove straight home, heart racing, vision blurring at the edges. At her next therapy session, she unspooled everything. The emails, the school incident, the tension mounting like a wave she couldn't stop. Her therapist.com, as ever, listened before gently offering, "Maya, you're letting your fear narrate a story that might not be true." Maya stared at her for a long moment, her voice barely above a whisper. But what if it is? Silence sat between them like a wall. The past had taught her that trusting too much came with a cost. She remembered her ex-fiancé, the charming architect, who slowly stripped away her confidence with smiles and denials. "You're imagining things," he used to say, even as he came home smelling of another woman's perfume. It wasn't until she found the hotel receipts, the naked selfie on his hidden phone, that she finally believed herself. That kind of betrayal scars deep, and though Maya had tried to bury it, time had not healed the wound. It had only made her more careful, more watchful. Now, vigilance ruled her life. She installed cameras around the house, tracking who came and went. She monitored call logs, checked Zara's location history, scanned Chuka's phone when he was asleep. She wasn't looking for permission anymore. She was looking for proof. One afternoon, convinced she was on the brink of uncovering something concrete, she followed Devon after he left a juice bar in Midtown. He drove to a warehouse in a quiet industrial area. Maya waited 5 minutes, then parked and stormed inside. Her heart pounded, ready for anything, but there was nothing. Just rows of gym equipment, unopened boxes, and the smell of rubber flooring. Devon stepped out of the back room, startled. "What the hell are you doing here?" he asked, sweat glistening on his brow. Maya stood frozen, breath caught in her chest. Devin looked at her, really looked at her. "You need help, Maya. I'm not your enemy." She said nothing, just turned and walked briskly back to her car. Once inside, she crumpled. The sobs came heavy, raw, and full of shame. She gripped the steering wheel and screamed into the silence, a deep, guttural sound that left her empty. For the first time, she felt the full weight of what she'd become frightened, alone, clawing at shadows. Meanwhile, Chuka was unraveling in his own quiet way. He no longer tried to defend himself. His words always seemed to ricochet off Maya's armor. Instead, he withdrew further. Work, once his sanctuary, felt hollow. He missed the softness in Maya's voice, the small jokes they used to share after Zara went to bed. But now, every interaction felt like an interrogation or a performance. At a session with Pastor Adebayo, his voice cracked as he said, "I'm losing her, and I don't even know what I did." The pastor placed a hand on his shoulder but offered no easy answers. Pain like this couldn't be prayed away overnight. Zara's 10th birthday arrived like a storm cloud masquerading as a celebration. Maya planned every detail with precision: the cake, the decorations, the guest list. But Devin was uninvited. Explicitly, Chuka showed up late, claiming traffic, but Maya didn't believe him. She barely looked at him. During the party, surrounded by family and friends and a room full of balloon animals, something inside her snapped. Chuka had just finished handing Zara a gift when Maya stood, her voice cutting through the music. "I want everyone here to know," she said loudly, "that while we're pretending everything is fine, my husband has been carrying on an emotional affair with his best friend." The room froze. Someone gasped. The children stared. Chuka's face went pale. "Maya, please," he started, but she kept going. "He says it's business, that it's a secret. I've seen the emails, the lies, the cover-ups." Chuka's jaw clenched. His voice rose in a way no one had ever heard before. "You don't know anything, Maya. You've never even asked." The room went dead silent. Not even the children moved. Maya stood there, eyes wild, chest heaving. For a moment, she thought he might cry. But instead, he walked out as the door slammed behind him. Maya realized just how far she'd gone and how far everyone else had gone from her. The party went on, awkward and forced. But something had broken, and this time she wasn't sure if it could be put back together. The morning air was heavy with silence as Maya sat in her car outside the brick office building, her grip on the steering wheel tight, knuckles pale. She had followed them again, Chuka and Devin, this time more determined than ever. She had seen the text come through on Chuka's smartwatch the night before while he thought she was asleep. "Meeting confirmed. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. D." No address, no details, just another whisper behind her back. Her heart had screamed go. Her mind, frantic and fatigued, obeyed. She tailed them from the house, eyes focused, paranoia sharpened into resolve. They pulled into a modest office plaza on the edge of town, tucked between a bakery and a real estate firm. Maya parked 2 cars down and waited until they disappeared inside. Then, without thinking, she grabbed her phone, shoved it into her coat pocket, and stormed into the building. Her heels clacked sharply against the tile floor as she searched for the directory, and there it was, *Tendai and McCallum, LLP, estate planning, non-profit consulting, *. Her stomach flipped. She reached the door just in time to hear voices on the other side. She didn't knock. She pushed the door open with both hands, her breath jagged, fury coiled beneath her skin like a loaded spring. Chuka and Devon sat across from a neatly dressed older woman behind a desk. Papers spread between them. "You thought I wouldn't find you?" Maya barked. All three heads turned. Chuka's face froze in confusion. Devon's eyes went wide. "Maya, wait," Chuka started, but Maya was already mid-rant, voice trembling with the weight of betrayal. I knew something was going on. The emails, the secret meetings, the late nights. "You think I haven't seen this before?" The woman behind the desk stood, startled. "Ma'am, I think there's—" Then Chuka spoke, soft but firm. "Maya, please, just listen." The lawyer cleared her throat and looked toward Maya gently. "We were just finalizing the approval paperwork. The foundation, it's called the Zuri Rising Fund, after your middle name. It's a non-profit, focused on mental health support for women of color, especially those dealing with trauma and loss. It's yours." Maya blinked. She swayed slightly on her feet, her ears ringing. "What?" Devon stood, almost exhausted. "It was supposed to be a gift. We've been working on it for months. We knew you'd never go for it if you found out. Early, you hate surprises." Chuka stepped toward her, the file still open on the desk behind him. His voice cracked with something between grief and love. "Your birthday's next week. We wanted it ready in time. The emails phase 2, keep her distracted, that was about launching it without tipping you off. That's why I've been weird. I wasn't hiding from you. I was hiding for you." Maya's knees buckled. She slumped against the hallway wall just outside the office, breath shallow, hands shaking. The hallway blurred through tears she didn't bother wiping. The weight of weeks, no, years, came crashing down in one terrible, heartbreaking moment. Every assumption, every surveillance camera, every cruel word, all of it built on fear. Fear that had become a lens, distorting love into suspicion, kindness into betrayal. Devon walked past her slowly, shoulders tense, jaw tight. He didn't say a word, just shook his head and disappeared down the hall. Chuka knelt beside her, his hand hovering near hers, unsure if he was still allowed to touch her. "You really thought I would betray you like that?" he asked, barely more than a whisper. Maya couldn't meet his eyes. Her voice was raw. "I didn't know how to trust anymore." Chuka exhaled deeply. He didn't move, didn't rush to forgive or to scold. He just sat with her in the silence, in the wreckage of everything they both misunderstood. Because now, the truth wasn't just about what had happened, it was about what her fear had cost her. The relationship she'd scorched trying to protect herself, the man who'd tried to love her through the barricades, the friend she'd turned into a threat. The foundation would live, but something inside her would need rebuilding to dot, and for the first time, Maya didn't know if love alone would be enough. A month had passed, and the house felt like a memory of itself. The echo of Zara's footsteps on the hardwood floors, the hum of the kettle in the quiet mornings, they all sounded different now. Chuka had moved into a modest rental across town, leaving behind his clothes, a toothbrush, and a silence that was heavier than anger. Devon hadn't called, texted, or replied to Maya's apology email. His absence was final. Still, the chaos had settled into something new. Stillness, space, and the slow ache of reckoning. Maya poured herself into the non-profit, now officially named the Safe Space Foundation. The office was small, just 2 rooms above a florist's shop, but it was filled with warmth, soft chairs, calming colors, shelves lined with books and journals. Women came every week, some fresh from heartbreak, others carrying decades of pain in their posture. Maya didn't speak as a therapist. Now, she spoke as a woman who had once watched her own trust erode into dust. In one group session, sitting in a circle of folding chairs, she shared quietly, "Sometimes our wounds wear glasses. They show us what isn't there, or turn shadows into monsters." The women nodded, one cried, another whispered, "Thank you, therapy had returned to Maya's own life, too. She no longer came armed with theories or diagnoses. She came as herself, unguarded, searching. Her therapist challenged her gently. What if safety doesn't mean control? Maya didn't always have answers, but she kept showing up. At home, Zara adjusted in her own way. She no longer asked why Daddy didn't live with them. Instead, she asked, "When is he coming home?" Maya never lied. She would crouch down to her daughter's level, brush a lock of hair behind her ear, and say, "I don't know, baby, but we still love each other very much." Zara would nod and return to her coloring or her books, her young heart stretching around this new version of family. One evening, just before sunset, Maya drove to Chuka's rental. She didn't come with tears or desperation. She came to speak, not to fix. He opened the door, surprised but not cold. They sat on his small porch, the air between them quiet but not tense. Maya looked at him and said simply, "I'm learning how to heal without burning bridges." Chuka's face softened. He looked tired, older, but his voice was kind when he replied, "I see that, and I'm proud of you. But I need a little more time." Maya nodded. She didn't argue. They sat for a few more minutes. No dramatic confessions, no rush toward reconciliation. Just two people, still tethered by love, even if frayed at the edges. She stood to leave, and he didn't follow her. But he didn't close the door, either. Back home, Maya made tea and watched Zara's sleeping limbs tangled in the sheets, breathing slow and deep. The quiet didn't feel like a punishment anymore. It felt like a chance, a space where something new could be built, slowly, on steadier ground. Whether or not Chuka would be part of that, Maya didn't know. But for the first time in a long while, she wasn't afraid of not knowing. She had survived the fire and chosen not to become it. Peace didn't come all at once. It came in small, steady moments, like the first time she laughed without guilt, or the first morning she didn't check her phone with dread. It came when she forgave herself, quietly, for seeing ghosts where there were none. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting soft orange light across the living room floor, Maya finally felt what she had longed for all along. Stillness without suspicion, strength without walls, a beginning, not an ending. The park was quiet, shaded by tall oaks, swaying gently in the breeze. Maya sat on a weathered bench, Zara curled beside her, their fingers intertwined. The air smelled of grass and distant barbecue smoke, laughter echoing faintly from the playground. Zara reached into her little backpack and pulled out a beaded bracelet, clumsy but earnest in its construction. She slipped it onto Maya's wrist with a proud grin. "It says, 'Trust your heart,'" she announced, her voice small but sure. Maya looked down at the mismatched letters, her throat tightening. Tears filled her eyes, but they didn't fall. She smiled, pressing a kiss to her daughter's temple. "It's perfect," she whispered. As they sat in the warmth of the moment, Maya's voice echoed in quiet narration. Asterisk sometimes. Betrayal isn't real, it's memory playing its cruelest trick. It whispers until we believe the worst, not because we're weak, but because we've been broken before. Asterisk later that evening, after Zara had fallen asleep in the back seat on the drive home, Maya checked the mailbox and found a small envelope, no return address, just her name written in Devin's handwriting. Inside was a single page. No apology, no anger. Just a few words. Asterisk sometimes the only way to move on is to let go for both of us. Be well, asterisk. There was no signature, only silence, where a friendship had once lived. She held the letter for a long time before folding it and tucking it away, not out of sentiment, but as a reminder of what had passed. Maya walked home alone, her steps quiet but certain. She opened the front door, let the evening light spill into the foyer, and paused before the framed logo of the Safe Space Foundation hanging on the wall. The lines were bold, the colors warm. Her name was etched underneath. She stared at it, the weight of everything settling, not like a burden, but like a truth finally accepted. Then she exhaled, long, deep, freeing. Not all love had been lost. But even in loss, something sacred had been found. Healing, finally, had a home.